Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
The Bachelorette
and Friends.
From first love to happy ever after.
What's that?
From dating to dick pics.
Oh my.
Oh no! The Bachelorette and Friends. Oh, I love a good dick.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Bachelorette and Friends. I'm Carla Anita Matiazzo, and today's guest is the delectable and delicious Alfredo Austin. Alfredo is an international touring musician. We met during the Fringe, the 2020 Adelaide Fringe this year, while he was performing with the Magnets. Make sure to follow Alfredo Austin on social media at Alfredo Austin or Mr. Freedom Young. He's got some awesome tunes that have come out recently. So let's kick into it. Austin, shall we? How are you, darling?
All right, let's do it. I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Out in Cali right now, the weather, even though there are fires, the weather today was quite nice. So
really?
Can't complain.
Fires? What's going on there? I didn't even know. What's happening with the fires, Alfredo?
Oh, with the fires, it's just, global warming, like actually being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. But yeah, so there's been a lot of fires, I guess, predominantly in Northern California, but I guess actually I just got my car back to the east, to the West Coast from the East Coast, and you can definitely see that there is ash on the car.
Oh, really?
Like because it got transported from near Philadelphia to Northern California, and then they drove it from Northern California down to the LA area.
Are you feeling good about being in Cali? Are you happy that you moved there? How's it all going?
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, the vibe right now is great. I think I needed a change of pace. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the weather's nice. I found a park to run in. The gyms are opening back up, so that's good. Right. And yeah, I get to hang with my sister, which is probably the largest reason that I'm even here.
And your sister's the one that's got lots of doggies. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
4. I don't know how she keeps up with it.
How many does she have?
Yes, 4.
4. Wow, that's a lot. That's
4. Yeah.
And you've been running, like, obviously we follow each other on, well, not obviously, but we follow each other on social media. And I've been keeping up with your running, man. I'm so jealous. You've got such a good regime going. You must
I feel
good because
I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky because honestly, I enjoy working out as soon as I wake up.
Right.
Like I can't, if I wait until after my day is done, I won't do it.
Yeah.
So morning runs, it's the way to go.
Wait, so what time is it where you are at the moment? Because it's 8:36 here on Saturday morning on the 12th of September. What's the time there?
It is 4:06 p.m. on the 11th.
It's so weird.
So,
to me in the future.
Yeah, I'm talking in the future right now.
Okay, so just to bring the listeners up to speed, this podcast is based on the premise of my award-winning cabaret show, The Bachelorette. There's always a catch, where I talk and sing about first love to what I thought was happy ever after and everything in between. And I fucking mean everything, Alfredo. Like, there's a lot of things happening there. So that's the premise of these chats. So we're going to delve as deep as you're comfortable. We're going to talk about things in regards to love as as much as you like or as little as you like. So
I'm a pretty open book, so.
You have control of where we go with this. I'm not going to ask you questions and force you to answer them if you're not comfortable. At any time, just be like, no, I'm not answering.
Okay.
Okay, let's start kind of at the beginning. So, Can you remember who your first crush was, Alfredo?
My very first crush? Very first crush. I can't remember her name, but I remember it was in Connecticut. I moved around a lot because I was a Navy baby. So I lived in Connecticut, and there was a really cute girl in my preschool class. She would normally, when it was cold, I remember this, she would wear like a navy blue like coat. She had blonde hair, and she was very sweet. I can't remember her name though. But yeah, that was like my first crush. That I can remember. That's all the information I can remember about them.
When you talk about like her blue coat and her black hair, can you picture her still in your head as you say that?
Yeah, it's weird. Oh my god, that's really strange. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, how old were you?
Yeah, I was maybe 4 or 5.
Wow, that's a young memory to have, Alfredo.
Yeah. My mom's always super impressed with my memory. Like, she's like, oh my goodness, you remember that? You were like 6. I'm like, I don't know.
That's amazing. Awesome. I'm very envious. That's brilliant. Okay, so then from first crush to first love. So when did that happen and how did that unfold? How did that end?
Oh, first crush, the first love? It's not the same person.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so my first love.
It could be.
My first love, I would say, was in high school. There was this girl that I had a crush on for like 3 years. Her name was Summer, and I'll leave her last name out of it. Her name was Summer, and it was after I moved to Delaware, and we lived in the same neighborhood. And so like she was always like cool. She was always cool, very sweet girl. And then I would say when she got her braces off. She had braces in like 8th grade, and then like 9th grade came around and it was like, oh wow, yeah, she's super cute. Intelligent, like she was always an honor student and all of that. So she didn't have time for the boys, but I always a super crushing on her. And I would get this annual phone call that would be like, because we took some of the same classes together, and she'd give me like a phone call like once a year, and she'd like, hey, this is Summer, and I'd be super excited. And she goes, I heard that you had a crush on me. I'd feel like, oh, I mean, this is true. I don't know who you heard it from. But she would always set me straight. She'd be like, I think you're a great guy, but to me, you're just a friend. And by junior year, I took the hint.
Did that crush you a little bit though? Did that kill you a little bit?
No, I mean, I guess by junior year, I kind of was like, okay, cool. And then that's when she started to like me. When I was like, oh, okay, we're just friends.
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
We're just friends, and that's all we were. And so, yeah, senior year came around, and we had a little band trip. And, yeah, we held hands on the bus ride home. And then that was the spark of my first love.
So was that you just held hands and that was the whole relationship? Is that what you're telling me?
No. Oh, okay. So wow, you want the whole story. Okay. So after that, we so it's a lot. After that, we talked about it, and she was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I want to do this. But she ended up giving me a chance. I was like, no, just let's try it. Let's try it. And yeah, she had a car too, which was super dope. So I didn't have to take the bus to school anymore either. But we would hold hands in the hallway, and I think people thought it was a joke at first because they knew Summer was kind of like, oh, she doesn't date anybody, like she's all about the studies, but yeah, we dated on and off, I would say, for about 3.5 years. 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like 3 years. And yeah, it was I would say it was easy to get through in high school once she got over actually having a boyfriend. Went to different universities. I wasn't a great boyfriend, and it wasn't because I was cheating or anything. I never cheated, but I wouldn't talk to her enough. Like, I was very not antisocial, but she's more introverted. So when she would want to talk, like, the people on my floor would be getting ready to go out, and I'm like, oh, hey, I hate to cut this short, but I'm going to go out with my new friends that I have made, And so eventually she broke it off, and then we kind of did the go back and forth for a bit. And I think when I was about 20 or 21, she asked about, like, making this more real, I guess. And I kind of just, in that moment, I kind of realized maybe it was a bit more comfort. Why? She was an amazing woman, like, really, she really was. But I think I had lost that, whatever, that spark, that like desire. And so I ended it, and yeah, that was that. So, ups and downs, but yeah, it was I'd set my bar very high for what I was going to come off the market for.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Yeah, because she sounded like a very well-rounded, high achiever, focused chick. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. She's a doctor now. Like.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So she's a doctor, and she actually, one thing I tell people, I'm like, she was really smart. Like, when she was in college or university, she had an internship with NASA.
Oh, wow.
Like,
incredible.
Yeah, like, really, people would say, like, oh yeah, she was smart, but it was like, no, like, very intelligent.
So obviously you still hold, like, a soft spot for her. You talk about her in such a beautiful, adoring way there, Alfredo.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think when you have someone, especially that first love, they will always hold a place in your heart. Like, they teach you a lot. You learn a lot from them. And I think I was very fortunate that was my first love, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who have a very poor experience with love. And I don't consider that a poor experience.
Yeah, that was an enriching experience, I would say. Very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then from there, because you guys were together for such a long time at a young age, was there the thoughts of, this woman's going to be my happy ever after? And do you believe in happy ever after, Alfredo?
Okay, so I'll answer the first part of that. I did think I was gonna, like, I mean, I think it was in the definitely in my head, like, oh, I could definitely marry her. Like, I didn't feel like I'm definitely not gonna marry her. Which some people sit in relationships and they're like, I don't know why I'm in this. They're definitely not what I want long term.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. I definitely thought I would end up with. I thought I would end up with her. There was a point where I thought that would be it. But do I believe in happily ever after? Sure. Yes. I believe in that concept. I do think that a lot of people are too impatient to find it.
Really? Yeah, cool. What,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Do you think it's an age bracket thing, or?
I think some people are lucky. Some people find that person in high school. Some people find that person in college, you know, like they're happily ever after. Some people miss out on their happily ever after, you know what I mean? Because maybe their internal timing was off, which then maybe that wasn't your happily ever after anyway, you know? But the concept, yes, I think so. But I think a lot of people get caught in, oh, I'm old. Oh, I'm 30, you know, like, and I'm not close, you know what I mean? And so they'll find someone who's like 70%.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, all right, like 70%. Okay. Like, yeah. And then they quote settle for that. You know what I mean? And it's not really their happily ever after.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's more like ever after.
Yeah. Yeah. You do. Yeah. No, I don't want a 70%. I want 110%, Alfredo. We can't be having 70%. We can't be having that.
I mean, it would be quite impressive to find 100+%.
Yeah, but everybody's 110%.
Exactly what you're looking for. But I think that's true. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I gave up in general ages ago. But I gave up, you know how a lot of women have lists of what I don't know if dudes do, but a lot of women have lists of what the dude has to look like.
Check boxes.
All that shit. Oh, fuck. I threw that away years ago because no relationship has even probably, and this is going to sound awful to all my ex-girlfriends, but they've never ticked half the list. So I was like, why the fuck do I have this list? It's just making me miserable. I'm just going to let it go, and whatever's supposed to happen, you know.
Well, how many characteristics did you have on the list? How many boxes did you have to be checked?
Look, at sometime in my 20s, I think there was at least 20 things on there. It was extensive. It wasn't like a top 5. It was fucking 20 things on this list. Like real specific. Like, yeah, maybe I need to let that go. Yeah. Yes, I did. I don't even remember what was on the list, to be honest. I do not even remember. But do you guys have a list like that? Do you guys go, these are the things that or is that a girl?
Yeah. No. I don't think that's a girl thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a person thing. Okay, so you were asking me about my list of things that I'd like to see in a potential lifetime partner. So yes, when I was younger, it was kind of like, I want someone who's smart, cute, and nice, right? Like simple, you know what I mean? And I did have that. I found that, and then maybe in college, I think other things got added in college, like, you know, oh, she's got to want to go out and party and be social, like, because my ex wasn't really that, and I kind of was more of that. So having someone who was more social, who wanted to go out, someone who was a singer, like I had so many singing crushes, like in university, like so many. And yeah, that was also added, I would say. I still wanted someone who I thought was pretty nice and smart, but also now it's like someone who's involved in music, someone who's social, and then I think your experiences make you more specific about your preferences, which preferences are cool to have, but I think sometimes they can get you in trouble.
In what way?
Because sometimes people focus too much on their preferences instead of the necessities.
Sure.
Okay. So you can become a bit nitpicky, I'd say, like a bit too nitpicky if it's like you're so focused on, oh, I really love blondes, or I really love brunettes, or I really love Asian women, or whatever. And you're like, wow, it's okay. So what do you want out of the person? Like what personality traits, You can have preferences for sure, like, but those should be like plus points, not like the main points. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that you've got some basic stuff and then there's added extras. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there are. Right, sure. So like at the core, I want someone who morally fits with my vibe. Mm-hmm. Someone, of course, who I find attractive, but also more importantly, someone that I want to be around, like whose company I enjoy.
Yeah, that's really important. I have to say, one of my relationships, my longest relationship, at least maybe half of our relationship, it was very clear he didn't want to fucking spend time. Mm-hmm. Because I had really low self-esteem, no self-worth, really, looking back.
Right.
That's why I just put up with it. Like, yeah, if someone's not wanting to do stuff with you, then well, what the fuck's the point? There's no point. There's no point being with them, The whole point in being in a relationship is enjoying that person's company. Yeah, you don't have to be in their pockets every 2 seconds, but if you can't get one outing a week with them because you're not a priority, then what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I've never experienced that. Yeah. I have experienced people who can't make the best of situations. They struggle to make the best of situations. So if something goes wrong, the experience becomes a bad experience, as opposed to a bad piece of a good experience.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. So would you say that you resonate mainly in the positive realm of the world, Alfredo, with that?
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. I don't know if you can really be an artist without being pretty optimistic. Like I don't know. I don't know of too many like struggling artists, like people who are still trying to make it. Mm-hmm. Like I think that they have this hunger, this drive, they have to be positive most of the time.
Yeah.
Like unnaturally positive.
Yeah. Believing in something that is not quite there yet, but right. You can't explain, but it's there, and I totally understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. So let's delve into lessons. So in the show, I talk about the lessons that I've learned and the catches I've collected along the way. So, for example, my catch is I use way too much toilet paper. And that was way before COVID. Alfredo. Way before. Right? Way before. So this show was written in 2017, 18, 19. Way before COVID. So do you think... Like, I know that that's a complaint from all my boyfriends. Like, why the fuck are we going through so much toilet paper? Like, we don't. I'm like, do you have a vagina? You don't have a vulva. You have a penis. You don't use it. So let's chill. So what are the lessons you've learned or the catches you've collected along the way?
Now, when you say catches, you mean like my personal hangups, like things that multiple people have said, you do this a lot.
Yeah, or, for example, in the show, I also talk about families can be a catch, because one of my high school boyfriends, his mother fucking hated me and one of his sisters hated me. So
Yeah.
Catch to the end of our relationship,
Right. Catches. I can't say that I've had too many catches, except for, ooh, you've never experienced that, but you really don't like that. You really do not like that. Like, I would say being a positive person is so high.
Mm-hmm.
It's like higher than being cool, than being like very physically attractive. Like, are you a positive person? Mm-hmm. Like, do you enjoy your own personal life before you invite me into it?
Yes.
Like, that is something I've definitely learned over the years. Like, I value it so much more than I think I ever did before.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And what was the other thing you said? Catches and lessons.
Lessons.
Yes. Lessons. Lessons I learned. I should be more on time. I should be more on time.
Why is that important, Alfredo? Why is that important?
Because I used to feel like it was like, oh, you're like kind of overreacting. I mean, I can't, like I said I was going to come by today. It's like, but you also said you were going to come by at this time. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, but is it like that big of a deal? You know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. To me, being on time wasn't a big deal.
Right.
Truly, like it wasn't for many, many years. And I think I probably learned that lesson more recently, right. Like in the last few years, I would say.
You think being on time to something shows somebody that you value their time?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also part of it was like, I never minded if someone was late. Yeah. Like, it never really affected me. And I think also my musician career also fed into that, because nothing's ever on time when you're doing music stuff, like, except for Germany.
Yeah, interesting. Why do you think that is? Just because they're very organized?
They are extremely organized. And I had 2 German girlfriends, so the time thing is real there. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, that's why I would say I've learned the value of being on time, because I've had German girlfriends.
Sure. Well, they're good lessons to learn.
It is helpful. It is helpful in life, for sure.
It's very helpful. What are your deal breakers then? So you've talked about positivity being really important. That's something really. Mm-hmm. So would you say a deal breaker with somebody would be if they're negative about everything and only see the bad in every situation?
A complete pessimist is a deal breaker. Mm-hmm. Like, and let's see, I would say the deal breakers for me are, a completely negative attitude is a deal breaker. Like, I won't stick around. I won't stick around for that. Also, smoking cigarettes is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
You smoke other stuff, like, I mean, live your life. But I don't know. Cigarettes is just, I've never felt like that was attractive.
No. Some people find it real sexy. Some people love that allure of somebody like blonde. No. No. I totally agree. And it's just a death stick. I don't know. Look, I've got some best friends that still smoke, and I'm like, you know that you are choosing to kill yourself with those sticks. Like, just, right. You know that, right? You know that.
Yeah, like, you're making the decision to do it. Yeah. Let's see. What other deal breakers are there for me? Yeah, negative vibes, smoking cigarettes. And I don't know if there's much more than that. I would say something that's high is that I want whoever I end up with to have a hobby that is just for them, or a passion that is just for them. It might not be their job. Like, maybe not everyone wants to be a data analyst for a Fortune 500 company. Sure, I get that. But if you tell me you're really into, I don't know, volleyball, and you're in a volleyball club and that's your thing, that's cool with me. Like, you know what I mean? Some people are fortunate to work a job that they just absolutely love. Like, every day they love, or most days they love going to do what their job or work is. But a lot of people, it's just like, my work is low stress, and that is great for me. It pays me well enough, and it's low stress, and I like the people who are around. Maybe what I'm doing isn't great, but the rest of my work environment totally is great, you know? But my passion is, I don't know, weightlifting. I like to go to the gym, and that is good for me. Like, I think that's a great thing for anyone to have.
I totally agree. I think it's really important to have those individual goals and individual passions, because then I think you bring a better self to the relationship when you do spend that time focusing on what you love, and then you're happy when you bring yourself back to the relationship. I think, right. Yeah, that's excellent, Alfredo. I think that's really important. So let's shift gears a little bit into some naughty stuff. So,
okay.
In the show, there's the back end-ish of the show, I talk about my dating experiences, online dating, and the things that come with online dating.
Sure.
There seems to be, and I'm not sure if this is in America as well, but my experience has been that we will not be talking about anything sexual. Like, say if I was on online dating, which I am not on anymore because it's not my jam, don't feel safe, had too many dangerous experiences.
Okay.
Let's not go into the dangerous experiences. Let's talk about the dick pics, right? So I don't know, we'll be talking about something that's not even related to sex. And it's like, some dudes have a catalogue of their dicks when they're hard, and they'll send them to you. It's like,
wow.
To me, what it is, because I don't quite understand, one, where the conversation is supposed to go from there when I've never met the dude and he's sending me his hard dick. Like,
right, that's weird. I've never sent an unsolicited dick pic.
Awesome.
Ever in my life.
Brilliant.
Because I don't understand. I wonder what is going through a dude's head when they send it. Like, does that ever work? It must have worked.
It works with me. Like, I delete straight away. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm out.
But like, I don't even understand why that is a thing. Like, what person is sending that and getting like, oh yes, I can't wait to meet you now. Like, hey, how was your weekend? What'd you do? Oh, I went out for ice cream with my friend. Dick pic. Oh, I can't wait to meet you now. What? Like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks, what the fuck? I don't understand it. I fucking don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, I've never done that before. I've never sent, I mean, unsolicited anyway. I've never sent it.
Hey, it's completely different when you're in a relationship. Long-term relationship,
right?
Completely different ballgame. That's completely
Absolutely.
But if you have never met this person and they're sending you, like, and this goes both ways. Like, if women are sending fucking nudes and pictures of their vulvas and they're talking about what they had for lunch, and then they're all of a sudden sending a full-on vulva shot, like, that's not
it would definitely make me be like, wait, okay, that that's not actually attractive to me. But I think that many men would find interest in that.
Really? Why do you say
Yeah.
that? Why?
Because there are a lot of dudes out there sending random dick pics.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think any one of those dudes who would send a random dick pic would be interested if a woman sent that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that question before I asked it, and you answered it beautifully.
I'm like, well, apparently a lot of guys.
Yeah, look, I'm surprised at the amount. And looking back, if I knew that I was going to have that as a topic in one of my cabaret shows, I would have kept the dick pics and I would have had them screening behind me during that part of the show.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
and you could like, if you wanted to keep it like PG, you could put like a little star over like the penis head. Like they do with like nipples, like they do with nipples on Instagram. They just like cover them up with like little stickers. You could cover the pee hole with the like star sticker or something like that.
I'll bring that to my director and see what he reckons.
You should see what he says. Or she.
It was either the projection of the dick or it was when each person came in, they received a picture of one. Yeah. Because it's only like a 3-minute segment in the show. So,
right.
Yeah, there's only like one story with a really funny climax, no pun intended, with a really funny ending to that story. Yeah, so I'm glad you are not a man that sends unsolicited dick. That makes me super happy.
Not my style. Not my style.
And what would you say, Alfredo, to the men out there that are thinking of sending women dick pics? What would your advice be as a male? Because as a woman, I've got no standing on telling men not to send them. But
I mean, right. Okay. So tips for when it is appropriate to send a dick pic.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I would assume that the conversation is already pretty sexual. Like, I mean, that's just the assumption. Like, before I'm even thinking about, like, oh, should I scroll through or should I just whip out the camera and take a picture of my dick right now and send it? The conversation should at least be able to make you hard, right? Like, I feel like that's a good, like, place, right? Like, it should be sexual conversation that's happening. And I would say maybe start the pictures out a little more PG-13 than that.
Yeah.
You know, like just maybe a pic in bed with your shirt off or something, smiling. A soft open. You know what I mean? Like a soft open, you know? Like, and I mean, I don't know. Obviously the conversation you should be able to read the room. I mean, you know, she's talking about how amazing you look and your physique and blah, 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 blah. Like, or asking for a picture. Yeah. How about if she asks for a picture? That's also a time when, you know, when you should send a picture. Yeah. I don't know. Also, asking her if she's comfortable with sending a picture or if she's comfortable with pictures at all.
Yeah.
That's an easy way too.
Okay, you know? You heard it here. Alfredo's just told you what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Let's keep it. Let's keep it at that, I reckon. I think that's some great advice, Alfredo. I appreciate you delving into the details of. I appreciate it.
Just trying to help some guys out there.
Yeah,
trying to help.
That's fantastic. I love that so much. Okay, let's step out of dick pics and move into sex toys. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, my experience is it tends to be an ego thing. And this is my experience, right?
Sure.
90% of dudes are like, no, No. We don't bring the sex toys in the bedroom because I can make you feel good without any added extras.
Right.
You think that's a Alfredo thing? What do you think that is, Alfredo? Tell me.
For me, I feel like I'm actually the opposite.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I'm all for a girl bringing in sex toys if it's gonna help her. Like some women that I've been with do not like using sex toys when they're having sex.
Yeah.
Others, it makes it easier for them to climax. And for me, I'm like, sex isn't just penis and vagina insertion. Like that's not what sex is. Sex is the experience. So like for me, if every time that I have a sexual experience with a woman, she climaxes, she relates that to the sexual episode being great.
Yeah, right.
You know, as opposed to like, I needed to use a toy. I've never heard, and I have a lot of women friends, I've never heard them be like, I had to take out the vibrator, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've never heard that. They, like, in fact, they actually are complimentary of the guy who is open. Like, yeah, I mean, he didn't mind at all. And it was a great sexual experience. Yeah. So, like, guys, just, like, drop the ego. Like, you literally have a helper. Like, you have a helper. Like someone's literally trying to make this easier for you. Like something can make this easier for you. Because I don't know about other dudes, but like one of the biggest turn-ons in a sexual experience is when the girl comes.
Yeah.
That's a plus for me. That's a plus. That makes my experience better too. So I don't know. Never minded. I never minded it.
Do you think it's a cultural thing? Maybe it's an Australian men thing? Maybe?
No. There's plenty of dudes in America who also are like, nah, she's going to come from my dick and that's it. And then it's like, cool, bro. So she comes 8% of the time. Awesome. That's great. Now you have this tool over here that can help you boost that to 98%, but you're content with the 8% of the time. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
She's going to think you're garbage in the sack.
I don't know. I know that that's like a personal preference between each couple and whatever, but I've just been really surprised at the objection from even suggesting it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always like, yo, what's going to make this the best? What's that?
Maybe I'm just picking the wrong dudes.
I mean, maybe there's a lot of guys that are out there like that. Like, maybe there is a lot of guys, there are a lot of guys out there who have these egos that they would feel less manly if it, I don't know. I'm not one of them, so I wouldn't know what that's like.
Well, that's great. That makes me being so open. Like we're going into some stuff that, you know, please again feel free if you're like Carla.
I'm an open book.
Sweet. That's beautiful and I appreciate that muchly. So let's step away from the naughty stuff and let's go into some heartbreak stuff to finish off because we got about 10 more minutes, baby. And
okay.
Yeah. You know, we could talk, I think, a lot longer than 10 more minutes, but
sure. Heartbreak. Oof.
Right. So have you experienced heartbreak? Have you been the one to experience heartbreak? And what have you learned from both sides of that coin, if you have?
Oh, yeah, I've been on both sides of that. Being heartbroken, that's even breaking hearts. I think both ways, like if you end a relationship with someone that you care about, it still is a form of heartbreak. Like, even though you also broke their heart, I think that there's kind of this perception that if you end it, then you won't be heartbroken either.
Correct.
You know, but I don't believe that, because I've definitely ended things that, you know, I think were good relationships. And it's like, man, I have something else that I want to do. And maybe my plans have changed and now you don't quite fit the plans or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you have to be kind to yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
Both sides, especially when you have received the deadly blow of being, you know, told, you know, that you are no longer in somebody else's life plans.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. The way that you just described that's in itself, that sentence makes me sad.
Yeah, because it's like, wow, you had certain plans for me before, and now those are no longer your plans. I'm no longer in those plans. And I know that can be, I know from personal experience, that's a blow. That's like a huge ego blow. Like huge, especially if you feel like you've given a lot and you've sacrificed a lot to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough bullet. It's a tough bullet. But you really do have to be kind to yourself. Those are the type of things that can really spiral someone into a dark place. So whenever I get there, I really do try to work on my body. I try to take up time with I don't know, things that like music. Music becomes a very large part of my life if I'm dealing with that. It really does cure a lot of pains and stuff like that for me.
As in,
but
music or creating music, Alfredo? Or both?
What's that?
Listening or creating music? Or before? Or all three?
All, yeah, all, definitely. Yeah, sometimes you just like, sometimes words just come to your head or a melody comes to your head and it's just off to the races. And it's kind of like some people feel like they express themselves better through writing. Like music is also part of that, I think, you know, or art or drawing or, you know, whatever. But let's see. As far as being on the other side, breaking someone's heart, I would say if you have to do it, be honest, be sincere. Because I think that there are a lot of people out there, while in the moment, they might really not like you. They might hate you in that moment for breaking their heart, but they could never call you a liar. They could never say you weren't honest. And I think being honest is something that a lot of people respect, even if it's not what they want to hear.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think people can move past that though? Do you think they can move past that, oh, she was being honest with me, even though it fucking hurts? Do you think people hold on to the honesty, or do you think it takes time for them to move past the emotion of it ending? And then, do you know what I'm trying to say with that?
Yeah, yes. Yes. I mean, that whole spiel about like, at least they were honest, that comes later.
Yeah.
Like, because I've been honest and upfront with women, like ending something, whether it's been after 2 months or 6 months or whatever. And they won't just like be like, hey, thanks for being honest. It will be like, okay, I need my space. I need to not talk to you. And then like later, for whatever reasons, your paths cross or you get a message from them or something. It's like, hey, how are things? Good, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll tell you like, you know, I just wanted to say, you know, even though things didn't work out, I appreciate your honesty. Like I've gotten that message a couple times before. So I don't know. It's just kind of what I live by now, because I think people appreciate that, even if it really does hurt them.
Yeah,
I
agree. So do you think when you have broken hearts, because I would imagine you would have broken many by just walking by, Alfredo.
Oh my gosh.
How's the rolling?
You're very kind.
Do you, now I've lost my train of thought because I made you laugh. Do you feel like you have learnt, I know you were saying that being honest is important, which obviously it is. Has there been any times where you have broken up with somebody and you look back and you go, oh, could have done that better?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some things that I could have done better are within reason, and then there are things where it's like, well, I could have been rich and that would have worked out. But like, you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, there are definitely some times where I look back and I'm like, oof, I could have been more supportive then, or I could have showed a little more compassion in those cases. Yeah, I think there are definitely lessons that get learned over these experiences for sure. But honestly, I would say when I have broken hearts, I don't know, like when I have done that, I think that any woman that I've done that to knows that it's not coming from a vicious place.
No, I don't think you have a vicious bone in your body, Alfredo.
It would take a lot. It would take a lot to see the vicious bones. They are there, but like it would take a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of patience, and for most things, I have a lot of patience for almost everything except being sworn at for no reason.
Yeah. Optimistic, positive attitude in general, I think, would lean to you. Yeah, it would take a lot. Just from what I understand about you, it would take a lot for somebody to push you to the point where you
would do something intentionally mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to intentionally do something to want that was designed to upset somebody or make someone feel bad.
Oh, that's a good thing. It's good.
I think so. I think so.
So before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to share that we haven't touched on in regards to your first love, first crush, to happy ever after, and everything in between?
Sure. I would say if you feel like you're struggling to find someone, I would say be honest with yourself in answering the question, are you what you want out of your partner? Like, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just not working. I just want a guy who, or I just want a girl who, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. And they don't possess those qualities that they desire in the person that they want. So yeah, try to, I would say, try to embody what you want to attract.
I love that so much. There's a book that's actually stacked under my laptop. So that is and it's called Love, and it's by Zoe Foster Blake, Hamish Blake's wife. Hamish Blake is a comedian, Australian comedian.
Oh, okay.
And, Zoe Foster Blake's his wife, and she's a writer, a TV writer, actress. I actually have her skincare. She's awesome. I love her so much. And in the book, she actually talks. She talks about that, exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
You need to look at yourself and see if you are on par with what you want to attract. I think, I love that so much. That's brilliant. I think that's a lovely note to end on. Thank you, Alfredo Austin, for your time. It's been lovely to have you today. Thank you for going deep, far and wide with me with all round topics. It's been great fun. Thank you, darling. Have a lovely day.
You too. Wow.
The Catch-A-Lorette with friends near and far, from heartache to catfish and sex toys. The Catch-A-Lorette and friends. See you next time if you dare.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.